This week's episode is sponsored by Patreon supporter Nathaniel Surgeoner, who's requested the basics on one of his favourites, the Autobot's naval tactician, SEASPRAY. The original SEASPRAY toy was first released in the second year of the Transformers franchise, 1985. He was part of the year's assortment of small-scale Autobot mini-vehicles and transformed into a hovercraft. SEASPRAY and his fellow 1985 mini-vehicles were some of the very first brand new Transformers toys which hadn't previously been released as part of a Japanese toy line. It's generally thought that they were designed for Takara's Micro-Change line, but wound up going unproduced until Transformers. Marvel Comics writer Bob Budiansky wrote a profile for SEASPRAY that characterized him as the Autobot's naval defense specialist, a bot who was slow and clumsy on land, but a speeding bullet on the water. He loved the ocean and everything in it, and as such he was more enthusiastic about his job than just about any other Autobot, and thrilled at doing battle over the waves. Now, SEASPRAY didn't get much time to shine in the Marvel comic book, in which he was a member of an underground Autobot resistance unit on Cybertron, who came to Earth over the Decepticon space bridge. But he enjoyed a bit more attention in the Transformers animated series. SEASPRAY joined the cast of the show midway through its second season, though no explanation was offered for where he had come from. He only appeared in a small handful of episodes, but he was instantly made memorable by his unusual, gurgling voice, performed by actor Alan Oppenheimer, which made him sound like he was always underwater.
Nothing here to report, Prime. Just supervising a little cleanup operation.
It was a trick Oppenheimer had used before, when he played Merman on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
We've all heard that before, Skeletor. And He-Man has stopped us each time.
In his showcase episode, Sea Change, SEASPRAY starred in the first Transformers love story when he fell for the alien mermaid Alana, one of a race of shape-changers named Tlalocons, who used a mystic pool to reshape their bodies into any form they desired. To prove to Alana that he was a living being with a feeling heart and not just a machine, SEASPRAY used the pool to transform himself into a Tlalocon so the pair could be together. Sadly, a Decepticon attack forced SEASPRAY to return to his robot form, and Alana temporarily turned herself into a robot so they could fight the villains side by side. But in the end, the pair realized that their outsides didn't matter, as long as they felt the same way about each other inside. Other adventures for SEASPRAY saw him captured by the Decepticons when they gained the power of invulnerability from a golden lagoon of invincible electrum. And he was even featured in a public service announcement, warning kids about the danger of not wearing a life jacket. The continued availability of his toy in 1986 also saw him appear briefly in the show's third season, helping search the seabed for the Decepticon titan, Trypticon. When his toy was discontinued in 1987, SEASPRAY was quietly phased out of both the cartoon and the comic with no fanfare, and he wouldn't be seen on store shelves again until 1993, when the figure was re-released in the Transformers Generation 2 toy line, now sporting a dark blue chrome paint job. SEASPRAY's had a spotty history in the 21st century. Several new incarnations of the character have been featured in various different series over the years, but none of them have had a lot of story behind them. For example, the SEASPRAY of Transformers Animated was an aqueduct security guard on Cybertron, who, like the original, loved his job. But his only appearances were a couple of barely visible crowd-scene cameos in the cartoon's third season in 2009, and no toy of him was ever made. A live-action movie version of SEASPRAY debuted in the 2010 Hunt for the Decepticons toy line. The first brand new SEASPRAY figure since the original, this take on the character was no dinky mini vehicle, but rather a big, beefy bot who transformed into a transport hovercraft large enough to carry other small Autobot toys. He was specifically designed to interact with the Autobot infantry fighting vehicle, Breacher, and the pair appeared working together in the Japanese comic strip Unite for the Universe, battling a cell of rogue Decepticons in the Aegean Sea. This version of the character would also inspire a minifigure in the Creo building block toy line in 2014. In 2012, SEASPRAY was mentioned in the Transformers Prime animated series as a member of the Autobot commando unit the Wreckers, who had been killed when the Decepticon Dreadwing planted a bomb on his ship. The show's writers later contemplated introducing him into the series properly, revealing that he had survived the explosion and characterizing him as a grizzled old sailor who used a nautical whistle to strike fear into his enemies. But this ended up not happening, though the character would make an on-screen appearance in the form of a teeny-weeny cameo in sequel series Robots in Disguise in 2017. Beyond that, unfortunately, there's not much more to tell about SEASPRAY. Like most characters from the earliest years of the franchise, he reliably pops up for minor appearances in comic books, mobile games, and the like, including even an evil Mirror Universe version of the character from the world of Shattered Glass, whose appearance was based on the Decepticon hovercraft Storm Surge from the live-action movie toy line. But he's never had any kind of big starring role. He did, however, get a brand new toy in the Titans Return toy line in 2017, a faithful update of his original figure, now with an added opening cockpit that could seat any of the small Titan Master figures released in the series. When this toy was released in the Japanese market, as part of the Transformers Legends toy line in 2018, manga packaged with the figure shone the spotlight on SEASPRAY for the first time in ages, as he and Alana reunited for an adventure to save Alana's watery world from severe drought. The same year, a special version of the figure was released in the Japanese collector-targeted toy line Transformers Golden Lagoon, recolored in an all-gold color scheme, homaging SEASPRAY's adventure with the Golden Lagoon from the original cartoon. And that's the short and sweet story of SEASPRAY. This little sailor might not have the richest history, but with his unusual alternate mode and his iconic voice, his popularity with fans remains as unyielding as the ocean waves. And those are the basics on SEASPRAY. Thanks to Nathaniel for sponsoring this episode. Share your thoughts on SEASPRAY in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos about Transformers characters, history, and lore like this one. Plus, you can get early access to new episodes if you support the series on Patreon.